Hello everyone, so welcome to the part 2 of this video. In this video, this is the complete version of how I made this dress, so please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. So this fabric was actually stretchy, like it was very like it was light and stretchy, and it was worrying me while cutting. So for the other part I added half inches, so that is for the front. I added half inches, and the length was for the length I added extra 1 inch. So this is the part where we'll be having the fullness. And so I'll just want to do it with my pattern paper first, and I'll want to join it now with my in the sewing machine. So I'll just turn it over to the wrong side and get the midpoint, and just after placing it where I'll just sew from the up part and stop at the midpoint. So just go to your sewing machine and sew in by half inches at the midpoint. So that's what I will do right now. So if you don't want yours to be the opening to be too big, you could still come up by extra 1 inches while sewing. So what I want to do now is this opening, I want to go to my machine and fold it. So I will just have to go ahead to fold in by 1/4 inches, and I'll do this for both sides. So after folding, just go straight to your sewing machine and try to sew it neatly. So I'm done folding that. So what we want to do now is to sew the up part. So to the up part, I'll be using a rope for mine. So for the rope, I'll be using a bias to make my rope. So you could go ahead to fold if you're using a bias. For me, I use 20 inches for the length, or you could use the fabric for yours. So 15 inches is also fine for the length. It depends on your bust and the up part of your bust, how big it is. So I will show you how to do this, how to fold the rope to this in my sewing machine. So I'll just place it. This is the end part of it. So I'll just place it in it and go ahead to top stitch. So that is the side front. So after top stitching, then I will go ahead sew to the center front where we have our slit, where we opened it in. So while sewing, please, you're not going to sew on the rope, so just place the rope in a way that it will be away from the rope, so you don't sew on the rope, because if you sew on the rope, you will not be able to stretch it out. So you can go ahead to repeat this for both sides. So this is what we have after sewing it. So this is what it should look like, and the next thing after now is to sew it to the down part by half inches. So I'll just go ahead, get the down part of it and sew it by half inches. So not forgetting that this upper part is more full than the down part, so you just want to be gathering it small until it fits in. And that is that for that's how you go about it to get it. So I'll just get the midpoint, place it on the midpoint and gather to the other side, and do this for both sides. So you could use your office pin to place it and gather it, so it would help you while sewing. So this is what I have, and this is what it looks like. So the next thing we just want to do is the other side. We just want to go to our sewing machine and sew it in also by half inches, and our front part of our top is ready. So after sewing it, so this is what it looks like. So the next thing you want to do is to join it to the skirt part for the front. We just go and join it to the skirt part, the down part by half inches. So I'll just get the midpoint and get the midpoint of the skirt part, and go ahead, go to my sewing machine and sew it in by half inches. So this is the back of the back part of our top. So we just want to go in to sew the dart. So for our dart, we measured about 0.75 inches, which I will just go to my sewing machine now to sew the dart in. And after sewing the dart, what we want to do next is to sew also to the skirt part. So please, I hope you notched. I'm sorry for not saying it earlier. I hope you notched the zipper part of this in front so that you don't make mistake while trying to sew, or you don't does not confuse you. So that is that for the back. After sewing the dart, so you would go to the upper part of it and sew it in by half inches, and the next thing you want to do is to sew it to the skirt part. So I'll be doing this for both sides. I'll just go ahead, place it well on it, and go to sew it in by half inches. So after that, I'm done sewing it. So what I want to do now, I've placed the two sides of the back together. I'll just want to go ahead to join them. So I have also sewn the up part by half inches. So I'll just want to join the two back together. So I'll just measure from where my zip will stop, and I'll just go ahead to sew in by 1 inches of the zipper allowance we kept. So I'm done sewing, and the next thing you want to do now is to sew our zipper to the back. So I'll just go ahead to sew my zip by 1 inches in. Okay, so I'm done sewing my zipper part. So the next thing I want to do now is to join the back and the front together. So after arranging the back, I'll just go ahead to place my front part on the back and go out to my sewing machine and sew in by 1 inch on both sides. And the reason why I'm doing 1 inch on both sides is because the allowance I kept out, the sewing allowance I used was 1 inch. So I'll just go ahead to sew by 1 inch down. And our gown is almost ready. So after this part, what we just left is the sleeve. Okay, so for the sleeve, I'll be you doing a simple sleeve for my dress. So this in length, I have it already. I've already gone to sew it. So for the length, I used 15 inches, and for the width about 1 inch. So I would advise you go for more than 1 inches, so that when you sew in by half inches for the slide gather, it could like you could still have a full more space. So why used 15 inches is because for where I cut it out from, the chest line was 7 inches. So 7 inches plus 7 inches is 14 inches, and plus 1 inches for sewing allowance, that is 15 inches. So for this part, this is the part I'll be using for the ruffles on this thing. So I on this rope, so I have about 20 inches here, if not more. So for a guide on cutting the length of this ruffle, so you could go by double of our 15 inches, which is 30 inches. So I'll just go ahead to fold it like this, and I'll just be printing until I get my exact 15 inches. So I'll just go to the machine to sew this to hold this stable. So while printing, you could use your office pin to hold it so that it does not scatter when sewing on the sewing machine. So I'm going to do this for both sides. So because I'll be doing it for both sleeves, so I'll do it on the both and this length that I have. So as you can see, this is how I'm going to fold it while sewing for the upper part. So this is what I have after sewing it. So the next thing I just want to do is to sew it like this to our sewing into our sleeve rope. So I'll just go to my sewing machine and go ahead to sew it like this. So after sewing, this is what it should look like, and our sleeve is ready. So what you just want to do is to sew it to the dress. So and our dress is already ready after this. So you could iron it first before doing this and sewing to the dress. So I will just go ahead, place this on my dress, place it on the sleeve part of upper part of the dress, and sew it. So personally, I will not want to sew it on the edge. I use my tape to mark 1 inches in before sewing it. So I'll just use my office pin to hold it firm before going to the machine. And our dress is ready. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you.